Excited about coming and playing a little bit for y'all today. This morning I was going to talk about the tryout pieces. I don't know if Marianne, my wife, might have handed y'all a piece that has the pieces on them. Number 44 starts off with an octave G flat, and G flat's usually a very bad note on bassoon, and it has it's not just an octave, it's slurred also. So I was using, when I play, I was using a breath accent. So I would play the low note, and then as I'm coming up, lift up my left index finger, and that'll help it jump up an octave. Some kids roll it to make it go to that, but I just totally just lift it off and use an extra puff of air for the breath accent. It also happens to pick up into measure 4. I use the same type of breath accent. I don't lift up my finger this time. I just use the straight faster air for the B flat, and then also the pickup into 6. Meaning to measure 7. I also do the same thing. Use a breath accent there. The tema, it says to play it plain is what it, it's just to play it without any really embellishments. I do a slight embellishment in the fact that I do a slight crescendo in that measures there leading into it. I use breath releases on all the slurred notes going up, and on the try to make a tremendous difference. Watch your kids on like in measure 16, 17 between the 30-second notes, and then later on the 16th notes. Make sure that they realize even at the slow tempo to make the 30-second notes distinct there from the 16th notes. Try to make a large difference at the end of measure 21 going into 22. Try to make the second section of this one, I know it's really short, but try and make that second section starting at 22 very soft. So if they'll hold out that G flat at the first beat of 22, hold it full value and strong. That way it'll help make the difference dynamically going into the next section. If you'll use breath releases on all these eighth notes, I think it stylistically will sound better. On the second piece, the second etude, number 11, this one, I feel like it should be, it doesn't say scherzando or giocoso, but I feel like it should be a playful style, and I do like little hairpin crescendos and decrescendos, da da dia dia da da dia dia da da dia 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 da, just to add something to it. I try to make it more playful. Like there's no dynamics anywhere in the whole piece. It just starts out saying MF, but I try to put some decrescendos, crescendos and decrescendos to add something to it, and. Also on these notes, the same way, use the breath release. Don't let them get into the habit. They'll go da da diet diet dot da da diet diet dot. They'll cut off the upper note or the second note of the slur. They'll cut it off with their tongue sometimes, and try and. I found when you practice it different ways. Sometimes I'll slur all 4. Go D-I-E-I-E. Just to get them used to not breaking between the notes. It's real easy to go diet diet dot. I have to work with my students on that, especially the ones going up, like the pickups into 17. Da da dia 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 dia. They'll start going da da dia 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 dia, and there'll be breaks in all those. So that's one of the big things is not letting to try and make it full value all the way through so that there's no breaks in there. Also, like in measures 19 and 23 on the upper notes, I like to stretch it to keep from rushing it. It keeps my students from rushing coming down. They'll go dia, 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 da, da, dia, 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 da, da. They'll just stretch. They don't have to accent the top note, but just stretch it so that if they'll think in their mind if they're going to stretch it so that they won't rush it. You go da 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 da. Go dia da da dia da da dia da da dia 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 da da dia dia dia. When I play for you in a minute, that's what I'm going to try and do is stretch out the top note at 19 and also at 23. Like I say, it doesn't say that this should be playful style. It just says vivace. But I think adding it to it adds to the piece. I forgot to mention on number 44, make sure that your notes, like in measure 7 and 8, where it has those dots with the slurs over them, make sure it's like in a portamento, very super legato where you can't even hear the tongue. Da ya la 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 da la la la. Just very connected, and try not to let them hear the tongue at all. I'm going to play through the pieces and then I'll talk about some reed stuff and then let y'all ask questions.